Hello everyone, my name is Gracie and I will be sharing with you today my Larynx project, my 3D model that I made for my Air Digestive 1 class with Dr. Agyapong. We mainly call it voice class. And essentially what we did is build a Larynx model, and then I have my little key here of the key elements that you would generally see on a Larynx model, all its parts, where they are anatomically, and also the physiology of the parts. So I'll go ahead and get started, and I'm just gonna go in the order that my key is in. Sorry if it's blurry, it's because my phone is unfortunately cracked. But I'm just gonna go from the top, and I'm gonna show you where the muscle or the cartilage or the ligament is, and also explain what it does. So the first one we have is the thyroarytenoid muscle, and it is right here inside near the vocal folds and the false vocal folds. And what it does is shortens and relaxes the true vocal folds, and it also lowers pitch and helps with fine voice quality. And then we have the oblique arytenoid, and this the muscle here across the back. And it adducts the arytenoids and narrows the laryngeal inlet. So it assists in airway protection during swallowing, and it also works with the transverse muscle here for airway safety. And then we have the posterior cricoarytenoid muscle, and it is right here. Yeah, that's right. Let me find it. And it is the only abductor of the introverted muscle. So it helps open the true vocal folds and keeps the airway open for breathing. And then we have the transverse arytenoid muscle. So it's the one that lays underneath this oblique muscle. And there's so many I had to write down the functions, and now I'm having a hard time finding them. The posterior... Oh, we're on the transverse, I'm sorry. So it adducts the arytenoid cartilages as well. So it's an adductor like many of the other ones. And then that is all of the entrance. Oh no, I'm missing one. The lateral cricoarytenoid muscle, and it adducts and closes the true vocal folds as well. And now on to the paired, let's do the unpaired laryngeal cartilages first. And I have that in my key just to divide it up. If you can see it, I did it by muscle, paired cartilages and unpaired, and then ligaments and the vocal folds, just to split it up a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier to navigate, just to know, categorize each thing. So anyways, on to the unpaired cartilages is the thyroid cartilage. So that is up here. That's this portion here. Then we have our epiglottis and the cricoid cartilage right here. And the thyroid cartilage, it protects the vocal folds and provides attachment for muscles. Your epiglottis is what folds down during a swallow to protect your airway. And then the cricoid cartilage provides structural support and keeps the airway open. Onto our paired cartilages, which is the arytenoids, corniculate, and cuneiform cartilages. These were super difficult to make because the cuneiforms are almost like hanging. There's two of them, but they're almost hanging, and it's when you're building it anatomically, it's easier to attach them all together. But realistically, they're not all attached. They're just kind of in there in their own little spots, from what I found. But the arytenoid cartilage, that's the main portion right here, this blue part. And you can see there's two of them because all this stuff is paired. So there's two. So altogether there's 6. And the arytenoids are the anchor point for the vocal folds and controls their movement. And then we have the corniculate. Yes, it's the little white part here. and it supports the arytenoids and helps maintain airway shape. And then the cuneiform was the little horn ones I was referring to earlier. They support the area epiglottic folds and keeps the airway open. And then we have, moving on, those are the three of the unpaired cartilages. Moving on to the membranes and the ligaments. I put them right here on the front. They lie closely with the thyroid and the cricoid cartilages. And this one, the cricotracheal ligament. The cricotracheal ligament, it connects the cricoid cartilage to the trachea. And these are my tracheal rings here. I didn't label them in my key, but anyone who the least bit familiar with stuff like this, those are your tracheal rings, all your paired rings. And so I went over that one. The cricothyroid membrane connects the cricoid and the thyroid cartilages. So that's this piece right here in the middle that connects these two blue pieces. And then the last thing are the true and false vocal folds. So when you're looking at these in real life, they're connected. That's why I did them kind of if I can move these without breaking them. But the red here is the false, and then the pink is the true. The true vocal folds produce sound through vibration, and then the false help protect the airway, but they do not produce sound. And that is all I have for you today. I'll do one more little turn. This was much more difficult than I initially thought, but I did have a lot of fun making it, and it did help enhance my anatomical and physiological understanding of the vocal folds, the airway, and everything in between.